Hey, Jayla, what's going on? I hope you're doing well too. Happy holidays to you. Yes, I'm just giving the algorithm a chance to send out some notifications. And we're gonna get into more of Sean Combs, The Reckoning aftermath. Okay, so much is going on, but I said it from the beginning. Diddy did not move like an innocent man. So please thumbs up the video, share this live out, and donations are definitely appreciated. It's the holidays, y'all, and stuff is expensive. All right, so help your girl out or whatever. Diddy is a self sabotager. His ego is so huge that he gets in his own way. Okay, thumbs up the video, share this live out. We're gonna get into it. Okay, so the documentary also revealed lots of other things. Hey, Cece. Hey, boom. He was so dumb to record himself in private conversations with him and his lawyer that he hired to defend him. But it shows how addicted to control Diddy was. Okay. He has to control his own narrative. But my thing is, if you are so innocent, sir, you would not have to do all this convincing of people to come and defend your honor. That's not what innocent people do. I mean, he always moved as a guilty man. And as a result of him tampering with witnesses, this came out before the trial even started. Okay. This is why Diddy was arrested in the first place, because he was caught red-handed contacting witnesses and things like that on the list, offering to pay for their lawyers. If you're so innocent, sir, if your reputation is pristine the way you proclaim, why are you working overtime for people to speak good of you? If you are a good human being at its core, people will come out automatically to defend you. We did not see this when the Cassie lawsuit dropped and everything. Everyone disappeared like ghosts. Immediately distanced themselves from the diddler. Okay? And it makes you wonder why. I, in my theory, feel like a lot of people have some dirty ass skeletons in the closet that they don't want to come out. And so that's why they distance themselves. Okay. Birds of a feather flock together. Thumbs up the video. That's why it's a to Ja Rule. Marlon Wayans, I was just very disappointed. But 50 responded with the white girl meme. I wish I had my iPad, y'all. It wasn't charged. I need a new iPad. Yes, please like, share the video, and comment. Engage with the channel. And donations are definitely appreciated. Okay. All right, work is working, y'all. Work is working, and my hours have changed. So I'm trying to like fit in my lives whenever I can. So I can't always go live from my laptop or whatever. But towards the weekend, we'll go live from the laptop, and I'll drop the link for you guys so you can come up and give your opinions of the different trending topics. Well, the number one trending topic is 50 Cent right now. And I just say a hit dog will holler, okay? Like Ja Rule. You finally woke up out of all these years and now you want to clap back at 50? Yo, he been took you out of the game. Ciao. Thumbs up the video, share this live out. Okay. So TMZ, shout out to them. They did some commentary on how. Yes, y'all know he my favorite troll. I know he got a lot of with him, but I'll choose the lesser of two evils. Okay, everybody want to bring up 50's old DV with Daphne Joy, but she's a sex worker. She'll go to the highest bidder. Why my phone wanna ring? It ain't ring all day. What did he did back then? And we never suspected him. Ciao. It's been out here. Hold on, y'all. Let me see what they want. Sorry, guys. Duty calls. We are at work. Yes, yes. Thank you to all of you in the chat. Hi, Goddess Earth. Happy holidays to you. Greetings and blessings to you. Yes, please thumbs up this video. Okay, we getting into how Diddy sabotaged his own case. All right, and then also By him tampering with witnesses, we're going to talk about how many people's lives were in danger, okay? It just goes to show how far people will go for money. Everyone has a price, right? Everyone has a price. It's just so sad. But let's get into TMZ. Please thumbs up the video. And what their take on Diddy basically throwing his lawyers under the bus. Like, I don't think Diddy thought he was so big. I don't think he thought this footage would ever get out there. But what is the main thing that always backfires on Diddy? The fact that he does not pay people that work for him. And this is why I think Diddy, or how, 50 was able to get his hands on the footage, because the diddler didn't pay the videographer. He tried to cheat him just like he's done all of these artists through the years. Mace, The Locks, Little Ride, okay? And here recently, let's not forget Nipsey Hussle, okay? How he all of a sudden became executive producer on an album that was already completed. Make that make sense. Please thumbs up the video. Diddy has built a career from stealing the talents from other artists. Let's just, because he's really not talented. He is not talented at all. He cannot rap. He cannot produce. Okay? He gets everything, his inspiration from someone else always. And this is why he always had the Mark Currys around, Mace. He had to steal their creativity. This is why he was so jealous of Tupac in the Biggie friendship. Okay? How dare you not want to work with me and only want to work with my artists? I am number one. Are you kidding me? Hence, did anyone find it weird that after Biggie died, he shut down the Rolling Stone cover and put himself on it? He hadn't even had an album drop yet. This man has benefited off of other people's talents for years. But because these weak sauce men in the industry that cannot stand up to him because they afraid they're going to be blackballed, well, you still got blackballed, you still have no money, and you're out surviving off of books you wrote off of the situation. Make that make sense. All right, so let's get into TMZ first. Please thumbs up the video, share this live out. Everything we discuss here is under fair use commentary. All right, these are not of this is of our opinion, excuse me, all right? And for educational purposes. But we've been talking about this on this channel for a long time, since the Cassie lawsuit dropped. And all you have to do is look at the patterns of behavior. And I find it odd, because I don't believe in coincidence, that everyone that is connected to the diddler ends up deleted, ends up in prison, ends up broke and destitute. Don't y'all find that kind of odd? I do. Let's get into TMZ.
Before he got arrested. If you've seen the Netflix documentary about Diddy, The Reckoning, which 50 Cent produced, there's some footage there that had never been seen before.
Excuse me, Mr. Money. You need to go and do your research on my channel before you make comments that are ignorant. We've been talking about this. I lived this era through the Biggie and Tupac beef, okay? I know that the foundation of most of the hip hop beefs is these dudes be fighting over chicks. Let's talk about it. So make sure you do your research before you make comments. But a lot of this, especially the fake East Coast, West Coast beef, the root of it was Diddy's jealousy. Let's talk about it.
A photographer that Diddy hired to follow him around and document his.
Look, you find it odd. I think Diddy dropping this documentary is very on point, because the younger generation needs to know the foundation of hip hop and what it was really built on. And it was a cutthroat society. Let's keep it real. So if you ain't gonna like and donate, get the fuck out of here. Kick rocks with sandals on.
That footage ended up going to 50 Cent and his production company, and it's kind of the centerpiece. Yes, was the centerpiece of the documentary. So watch this particular scene because this is where a lot of people feel Diddy really screwed over someone that he should be very, very thankful for. I'm taking eight nuclear bombs, you know what I'm saying, straight to the head. I'm going back and forth with y'all with the lawyers. Okay, so no. Let me tell you something. Let me say this. I'm not a referee. So I'm gonna get off the phone right now. Listen to me. I'm gonna get off the phone right now, and I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what nobody said. Let's just here and there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing. Well, he said we're losing.
This is a man that cannot take no for an answer. Let me put my Cash App link for y'all. Let me see. 1 second. Like you donating. Mm-mm. It won't let me. Exactly. Cash App is Naughty Love Movement. It's not gonna let me paste it. Um, y'all hear that? This is a man that does not like to lose, and that's what people need to understand. All right, he does not like to take no for an answer. He feels like he could do whatever he wants to do and get away with it. And this ego, this bravado has built up through time because he's gotten away with so much, starting from the college stampede, then the New York shooting with J Ho and Shine. Okay, so many. Then Tupac, then Biggie. His hands are not clean. Let's get into this.
The reality is, Mark Agnifilo, the person with whom he was speaking, actually won the case for him. This is a huge betrayal. Look, Agnifilo, there is no way he isn't outraged that Diddy was secretly recording him, and this ends up in this Netflix documentary. Mark Garagos, who is my co-host on Two Angry Men, he's represented Diddy for years, and his daughter is part of the Agnifilo defense team. And he was involved in all of this. So in this past weekend's podcast, um, I pushed him to find out how Agnifilo really feels here. And Mark kind of skirted it some, but I think you get the sense. Diddy knew that Mark was being recorded, but Diddy didn't tell Mark. Does Mark feel betrayed by Diddy? I've not talked to Mark about it. What do you think, Phil? What do you tell you if it was me, I would be I would be more than a little upset. I was more than a little upset when the client didn't know and I was being recorded. I mean, there was a while there where I was meeting clients under bridges, freeway bridges, because I was PTSD over it. So I I I think as a lawyer, it is one of the most inviolate oaths that you take to protect the client confidentiality and the client privilege. So I don't know. I haven't talked to Mark, but if I were Mark, I would be out of my head. Out of my head. It's incredible. Diddy did two things here. Number one, he betrayed Mark Agnifilo, who, to your point, did so much for him. Obviously,
Do you feel like Diddy betrayed his legal team? I'm gonna put it in a. Let me start a poll. Okay, I started a poll. I want y'all to vote. Do y'all feel like Diddy? Look, I already had 100%. Do y'all feel like Diddy betrayed his lawyer by recording and not even letting him know? I wonder if New York is a state where like you don't have to have consent. If anybody knows the answer to that, let me know because that consent varies from state to state. Okay. Please vote. Vote, 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 vote. Mm-hmm. 75% of y'all said yes. Here my phone go. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to vote. My phone was not ringing at all. As soon as I get on live, it wants to ring. Hold on, y'all. Okay, somebody said New York is a one party consent. Okay, hi, everybody. Please participate in the poll. All right, so most of you feel like, yes, he did betray his lawyer. I feel like he did too. Why are you recording these things? Like your days leading up to your arrest. It's weird to me.
Life in prison. The second thing that he did is by having a third party distribute the conversation, the videographer in this case sitting there, there's no privilege, right? Did he waive that entire privilege? Now, it didn't end up backfiring because it seems nobody knew about it until the end of trial. What are you going to do at this point? But it's such a like a callous act by Diddy to just sell out his lawyer like that. It's so selfish. Now, we should say that remember, Diddy.
Again, this speaks to his character. Little Kim said it years ago. Puff is all about Puff. He don't care about nobody but himself. You think that's going to change because he's under fire and facing years in prison? No. That man has convinced himself to me that he's innocent. Somebody is not logged in. Hold on. Well, they could keep hanging up. I don't care. I'm about to go to lunch in a minute anyway. Okay.
This team were very upset when they found out that this footage was part of the documentary and they tried to shut it down. But, you know, the act of taping it already is so awful. It right without saying that I didn't I didn't authorize that video going out, and the argument they've made is that he's the one who has the right that he owned
Are you talking about Justin Combs' energy or Christian? Because that's who I seen in the footage mainly.
footage, but that's a copyright issue. That is nothing.
And you know what I found out? I knowing all of this, why aren't they questioning their father's participation with happened to Kim Porter? I'm surprised that didn't come up. And I think I'll be sure is full of it. Because all that you did on these internet trolling, the death of your baby mom, after you was a deadbeat to Quincy all them years, it is beyond me. Oh, when they were speaking on Dawn, did he let his son get his rocks off? They said that he was having orgies with his sons. Creepy and weird.
Morality of the whole morality is clear. What's unclear is what kind of a deal did he specifically have? Did he have with the videographer? because I'll tell you what the sense is that I have based on my conversations. I think it was a loosey goosey thing. Yeah. And I don't even know if they had a written agreement. And if they didn't have a written agreement, the videographer is the one who owns it. Copyrights cannot be transferred through an oral contract. Nobody, you have to put copyright transfers in writing or they don't count. And there you go. I think that happened here. Yeah.
Stephanie calling in from Brooklyn, New York. Diddy needs to take some accountability. He's more mad at the lawyer and his own actions. That fame all has gone to his head, and 50 died.
Facts.
It was a scary watch, sad, and if he did have anything to do with everything that they're saying he has stuff to do with, they need to keep him right where he is.
Well, he's going to hear.
Period. They need to keep him right where he is. Now, do y'all think through this documentary they're going to be able to connect Diddy to Tupac? I mean, Keefe D trial is coming up this coming year in 2026. 2026. That's not the only thing. I mean, during because everybody was like, "Oh, he should get bail," and I'm one of those people that did not feel like he should get bail. He is a dangerous man, admittedly, out of his own mouth. He's a dangerous man. All right. So the next thing I want to get into is the witness tampering of it all. This came up over and over pre-trial. Okay, Diddy was caught calling witnesses, trying to pay off witnesses, and things like that. Remember the whole situation with the notepad? And he tried to claim it was attorney-client privilege, and it was marked legal because they did a sweep of the prison. Y'all remember that whole situation? I say it and I stand on it. Diddy did not conduct himself as an innocent man. Please thumbs up the video as y'all loading up into the room. I think this other ish brewing too. And I think with him getting this little sentence, because it was a little sentence, because he was only charged with prostitution or whatever and transporting them, I think it's something bigger on the horizon. What do y'all think? I mean, red rum charges have no statute of limitations. They don't. They don't have any statute of limitations. Let's get into the witness tampering. Now, I want to establish a pattern here. We also heard rumors doing the whole Shine case, the 1999 flicking up in the club that he finagled and hired Johnny Cochran to get him out of. We heard all throughout that trial that witnesses were being tampered with. Natanya Rubin, who also has a channel on YouTube, she was unfortunately the victim of all of that chaos in the club, and she got shot in the nose. Okay, she's also said that it was a lot of witness tampering. All right. Ooh, that's a good point. They trying to get him to tell on the higher ups. I don't think he'll ever snitch. It's so crazy because how can someone who is not from the streets, and that's what we learned from the documentary, Diddy is not from the streets. Gene Dill also said he wasn't the street. He was a little faggot punk back in the day, okay? With a little S curl and everything like that. Like, how can someone who is not from the streets, I mean, Catholic school, button up, suits, Janice used to dress him like a little pimp, right? How all of a sudden does he have all this street credibility? Y'all let me know that. Child, this is ass backwards. How does street code go against the street code? Y'all let me know. It's just like what baffles me is, you got all these gangs, right? These bangers, right? The Bloods versus Crips and Crips versus. Now it's blood on blood crime. Like, what is the point of the gang? Okay, y'all not loyal to each other. It's crazy. Okay, great. But anyway, it always baffles me how people that are not from the streets follow street code. But let's get into shout out to Khadijah Lynn. I really, really like her commentary. She does a great job on TikTok breaking down all these cases. We're going to get into it. We're talking about Diddy tampering with witnesses pre-trial. This is why he was locked up with no bail, okay?
Involved in this investigation into Diddy, claiming that there was witness tampering happening. We know that prosecutors were bringing up these allegations multiple different times, and this is one of the reasons why Diddy was getting denied bail. Now we are hearing Diddy's former chef, Chef Jordan, speak out, claiming one of Diddy's former assistants told Diddy that she was testifying to the grand jury. And after we talk about Chef Jordan's new allegations that she came out with today, I then want to turn and talk about Kalina Harper coming out on her social media after we saw her on the Diddy Doc. And I thought that her interview on the Diddy Doc.
I thought Kalina, she still didn't have no solid stance. I think she was a waste of damn time because she's scared of Diddy. You could tell that she has Stockholm syndrome. Cause ain't no way after a ninja, I call you. I'm trying to fight for my kids, and you claim you father of the year, and I call you just for $5,000, which I feel like she lowballed herself. Ain't no way after you deny me, sir. I'ma bend over backwards making statements for you. Go kick rocks with sandals on. Thumbs up the video.
Was very odd because she never brought up the allegations that the prosecutors were claiming that she was actually paid by Diddy. This is important to talk about because we know now, based off the Netflix doc and the videos that came out, that Diddy was having somebody record of him. It seems like there was a whole PR narrative being pushed since the very beginning of all of this. And this is something that the prosecutor.
Say what you want about Tisa Tell. She said it. And when I went to the trial, you could tell there was a whole bunch of media out there on behalf of Diddy, from selling t-shirts, from doing interviews with all the YouTubers that's trying to spin the narrative. Diddy has been using the media the whole time to fight his defense. Got he garnered a win with the court of public opinion.
The very beginning with all of this witness tampering. Now we are hearing these same allegations coming from Chef Jordan, who is claiming that one of Diddy's former assistants is the one that gave Diddy her information and that she was testifying to the grand jury. And she came out with this information that she was contacted by Diddy's lawyers right after she had her appearance to this grand jury on April 2nd of 2024. And she also posted this text message along with these details that is from April 15th of 2024, just a week after she testified to the grand jury. And the text says, "Dear Chef Jordan, this is Aaron Dyer. I'm Sean Combs' attorney. I left you a voicemail last week, but wanted to follow up. I had been told that you have been contacted by law enforcement and might want an attorney to represent you. Let me know if you want to discuss or have us help with this." Now, Chef Jordan came out today and is claiming that the person that gave Diddy this information that she testified to the grand jury is Diddy's former assistant, Neil Dominique. Important to note that Cassie Ventura gave testimony about Neil Dominique and claimed that he was one of the assistants who helped set up the freak offs. He writes this post and tags Neil in it, saying, "I just wanted to put this out there because I've been debating how I wanted to handle the situation. Now, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I'm really wondering why you decided to tell Sean Combs that I was contacted by the feds. I saw you wrote a good character letter for him too. Come to find out, you were actually providing Puff with information on a whole bunch of people throughout the case. So my thing is, why were you so comfortable putting my life in danger? Why were you so comfortable putting other people's lives in danger in this case? You provided addresses to him. Were you like a double agent working with the feds and Puff? I'm wondering how big was the check you got? Neil, since you don't really know me, I just wanted to make sure you understood because I will never feel safe and comfortable. I wanted to make you feel uncomfortable too. At any point, any of us can be taken out behind this man. And you took it upon yourself to put us in danger because you lack a moral compass. I guess you thought you would skate on and the public would never find out. Wild times. Good luck." But anyways, Neil. Hey, my name is Jordan Shatan. You don't fucking know me, but you provided my name to Puff and told him that the feds contacted me. Even before I even talked to my own family about it, you put my life in danger. You provided addresses to him for a few people. You were actually meddling with a few other victims in the case, acting like you were their friend. So, anyways, I just wanted to make sure because it was clear you accepted the check. How much was it? Can you tell us? Can you tell us how much it was? Anyways, you got the check and you clearly been over there comfortable. And so I just want to make sure that you didn't get too comfortable and you will fucking pay one way or another for putting our lives in danger. Because it's a list. You're not, you ain't getting away with it, Neil, Dominique. We've had multiple people come forward, and now we are seeing the actual videos in the documentary on Netflix being played out in real time. Did he even saying himself that he had to control the narrative? And this is all things that the prosecutors talked about during this case. In the documentary, we heard Kalina Harper talk about the fact that Diddy reached out to her after Don Richard filed this lawsuit against Diddy just days before he ended up being arrested. We also saw the video clips that Diddy recorded of himself actually making these phone calls to Kalina Harper. What threw me off about Kalina Harper's interview is the fact that she never brought up that prosecutors were alleging that Diddy actually paid her after she made this public statement disputing what Don Richard had in her lawsuit. Kalina Harper, after being in this documentary, put out a Instagram post yesterday saying, for clarity, because a lot of narratives are getting mixed together. My situation and the federal indictment are two completely separate matters. I have no involvement in that case, no connection to the investigation, and no role in anyone's legal issues. So there was no shielding, no covering, and no helping anyone lie because there was nothing for me to be involved in. What did involve me was my name being mentioned in a civil lawsuit and in public discussions that misrepresented my role. That is different. Standalone issue that I addressed only to correct the record. And the thing is, everything that we watched in this documentary is literally what the prosecution alleged. They talked about during this time how Diddy was orchestrating a social media campaign and he was trying to taint the jury pool. We literally heard this in this documentary. And they also alleged.
We also heard it pre-trial, and we seen it. Him sitting down with his kids, coming up with a plan. Remember the whole media frenzy around his birthday, and they had baby love on the table, eating cake and digging in cake and talking about, "I love you, daddy. I love you, daddy." Everyone that is surrounded by Diddy is a tool for him. That's just the bottom line. If he does not have any use for you, he will discard you like last week's trash. Thumbs up the video. Thumbs up the video. We're getting into Diddy witness tampering. I mean, it was obvious. He shot video of him doing so. And like I said, the history here, he was accused of the same things during the Shine trial. He made sure he tampered with witnesses to the point that everything went good in his favor and threw Shine under the bus. Collateral damage.
Different witnesses, even through third parties. This is one of the reasons why the judge actually denied Diddy's bail multiple different times. And y'all know I stayed in these court docs leading up to trial, and this is what the prosecutors alleged. The defendant reached out to witness 2 on September 11th and sent her a copy of the lawsuit against the defendant in which witness 2's name was mentioned.
And in the documentary, you hear him on the phone with Kalina Harper saying, "I don't know what I ever did to this girl. You gotta help me. You gotta help me." You hear Kalina say, "Well, send it over to me and I'll read it."
Times. And this is Kalina Harper. And we now know Diddy was recording parts of this conversation. The defendant then called Kalina Harper and they spoke for nearly 6 minutes. After reading the lawsuit, witness 2 called Diddy back at his request and they spoke for over 4 minutes. The defendant and Kalina Harper discussed Kalina drafting a statement, and immediately after the call, Diddy told Kalina Harper something in a text message. Diddy then asked Kalina Harper for her attorney's name. From September 11th.
Now he willing to help her. Cece, thank you for being a member for 24 months. And yes, girl, you always rock with your girl. Hands down, I appreciate you. You always in them comments fighting the trolls. Cause she know what we stand for over here at the Knotty Love Movement. We try to get fair commentary. And I try to be non-biased. But unfortunately, when it comes to Diddy, I never liked him. I never was impressed by him. I never thought he had any type of talent. I always thought he was real cool. Always. Thank you, CC. I appreciate you. I thought he was ugly. Always. And it's coming out more and more how I read that spirit on here decades on him decades ago. I always felt like he was jealous. I always felt like he was whack as fuck. And I never trust a man that can't close his mouth. His teeth so big he can't even close his mouth. Thumbs up the video so you know that breath is hot. His mouth always open. What happens? I got allergies, child, okay? And when my nose be stuffed up and I gotta breathe like this when I'm stuffed, y'all know how to go when you the breath don't be nah, I always thought he was weird. I always thought he was weird with his S curl and wearing one piece jumpers. I always thought he was weird. Thumbs up the video. I always thought he was weird. It was nothing attractive about him, and I did not understand. And the only thing I can only way I can resolve that is he got money. That's it. Y'all let me know in the comments if Diddy ain't have money. You think he'll be pulling all these hoes? Come on now. And that's what he used to be jealous of with Biggie and Tupac because they was pulling all the girls. This man jealousy goes so deep that he has to sleep with the women, the exes of his arch nemesis. He did it to Tupac, Chance Mama. That's Tupac ex. He did it to 50. Daphne, you little sex worker. Hell, he did it to his own son. Lori Harvey was dating Justin or Christian Combs first, and then Diddy went to fuck behind his son. Y'all tell me how sick that shit is. Thumbs up the video. That is sick and some demonic energy going on. Okay, when you want to have orgies with your kids, that's that's a violation in itself.
2024 through September 15th of 2024, Diddy and Kalina Harper exchanged multiple texts and had multiple calls. At least 128 phone contacts in total. Throughout these phone contacts, the defendant had repeatedly asked Witness 2 when she planned to post her public statement. Witness 2 then ultimately made a statement about the lawsuit via Instagram on September 13th. And yes, this is a statement that Kalina Harper made.
Let me tell you, Freebie. Yes, we all have insecurities, but do they go as deep as yo? Diddy is down with OPP. That's the only way he down with other people pussy. That's the bottom line. Diddy is down with the OPP, and I think that's strange. That's strange. I ain't never that insecure. That I gotta go to people that were my enemies to sleep with their exes. Nasty work. Nasty work. The women, when he not knocking them between the washer and dryer, I guess they gotta say. I guess they gotta say a lot of them women was around voluntarily, but there's quite a few, and we talking 100 civil lawsuits that were taken advantage of, rugged, and weren't in a position where they can give consent. He was going around Bill Cosby and people, men and women. Food for thought.
All of this information is even still in the media because they were talking about how the prosecutors alleged that Diddy was tampering with witnesses, one being Kalina Harper. But then they go on to talk about something interesting. They said then, after the defendant was in custody, BOP investigators recovered the following notes from the defendant's cell during a pre-planned nationwide sweep of BOP facilities. Diddy was trying to fight against prosecutors getting their hands on this notepad out of his cell during a sweep because he was claiming that there was legal marked on this notepad and it was attorney-client privilege material. And they actually had a hearing on this. And during this hearing, the judge is saying in this motion on November 19th of 2024, at this hearing, defense counsel presented the court with an intact legal pad with legal written on the binding, stating that the legal label on this and other pads showed that they were clearly protected by client attorney privilege.
Hey
and should
Siri,
not be in the government's possession.
set
The
timer
judge
for 59 minutes.
the sealed exhibit to the government's brief on this issue includes photographs of two intact legal pads taken at the time of the BOP sweep. There is no writing on the binder of either pad. At the scheduled hearing on Friday,
The lies you tell, he is such a liar. Diddy is a master manipulator, a master liar. Okay, that's what this proves. This is his character. This is his character. That's all this proves. So if anybody, Ja Rule, any of you hip hop artists in the industry rock with him, you just like him.
22nd, 2024, defense counsel should be prepared to give the court further context on the legal label that the court was presented with on November 19th of 2024, and to address why this label doesn't appear in the photographs in the court's possession. And this was the judge calling out Diddy's legal team during all of this, because he is saying when the BOP sweep this, they took photographs and there's no legal wrote on these notepads. But when you just presented it to me in this hearing, it has legal on it. So why is that? But why are these notes also important? Well, the prosecution was trying to say in Diddy's personal notes, the defendant said he paid Kalina Harper after she posted her statement. In my opinion, I don't think what Diddy was worried about during this time is that Don Richard actually filed a lawsuit. It is because he knows that Don Richard was around the time that Cassie was around. I think that Diddy knew the feds were going to go after Don Richard as a witness, and this is why we saw Don Richard on the witness stand giving testimony about what she allegedly saw. Because mind you, in this lawsuit that she filed, she talked about different instances with Cassie a lot throughout her lawsuit.
I want to speak to that. Because Kalina spoke about Cassie using rugs. And I'm like, how you know? Was you using them with her? Kalina gives she was very jealous of Cassie's life. Despite her witnessing her being knocked between a washer and dryer, she did another interview where she was like, she went over to Cassie's house, was like, wow, you living like this. If you don't mind me asking how much allowance you get, chick, ho, that's not your business. Because you chose to sleep with the broke one and get married to the broke one, okay? She gives me jealous. She gives me, well, I don't know why she crying, because look at how she living type vibes. Remember that story Gene Dill told about Ja Rule and him running out the room with towels on? This is all very calculated. This is one thing that I talked about in the very beginning of this case. You could see different things shifting and moving. And I really thought that reasonable doubt was being thrown out there. This was the same thing that the prosecution was trying to allege the whole entire time. Now to see all of this stuff come out on a Netflix documentary that Diddy was literally recording himself in these instances and saying different things about how he has to push a narrative to the media, it's just crazy. Heart literally breaks for every single person that was involved in this that are now literally scared. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think, okay? I think it speaks to Diddy's character and how manipulative he is and how he has to have things his way. He's very controlling and manipulative, and that speaks to the environment that Cassie lived through. Look, was Cassie always a victim? And do I feel like she had plenty of opportunities to get away? You know, a lot of this could have been presented if people would have just went to the police every time he violated them. But because people are so afraid of getting blackballed. The silence created the beef. The silence created more victims. That's why it's important when it comes to DV and things like that. It's important to report it, hands down. Whether the police do something or not, at least you have a record of what happened to you. Because Capricorn Clark said it in the documentary. She knew the jurors didn't believe her. You want to know why? Because people are going to listen to the stories and be like, yo, that's just too good to be true. But now, and hearing all of these stories coming out and things like that, I believe the stuff that's unbelievable. But here's the downfall. And you saw it with the male juror that was on the documentary. The fact that they continue to stay there and work and be in relation to him, the jurors couldn't justify that. Also, it wasn't a case about DV. It was a case about trafficking. But there were a lot of willing participants, like Daphne Joy, 50 Cent baby mother. Now, a lot of people have alluded to, especially Ja Rule, that 50 is butthurt over Diddy sleeping with his baby mother. I find that to be the furthest thing from the truth. Like, I've seen 50 with his girl, beautiful girl. He done got him another blazing. Them hoes that they be passing around in the industry are replaceable. Look at Carisha. And the sad thing is, you have the Daphne Joys. Um, what's the other girlfriend that did the interview with Tasha K? Cause she's still windmilling for 50. For Diddy, excuse me. Daphne Joy and Gina Han. Them bitches is for sale. Period. And you know, as soon as Diddy is not available, they gonna move on to the next bidder. These women are the same women the whole industry pass around. I don't think Diddy was taking care of son because 50 always been taking care. The younger son he likes. It's the older boy that looks just like him, Marquise. I don't like him. Or his mama. Mm-mm. But that little boy, the youngest one, the one he had with Daphne Joy, that little boy is everywhere with 50. Yeah, he paid her rent, but that don't mean that. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. It froze on me. Yeah, he don't care about her. All he care about is his son. Hey, Be More Shorty, what's going on? Please thumbs up the video, share this live out. We getting into the diddler tampering with witnesses. We bringing that up again. I think it speaks to his character. Like, and if anybody don't see this, they are blind. Look at how many people he robbed through the years. He had to rob other people because he is not talented. Scratch a lie, find a thief. Yeah, I really do think his and it's sad because the oldest son could really benefit off of his father's namesake if he did it the right way. And he could do that without even mentioning 50 being his father. And I think his entitlement, and 50 has spoken to this, came from his mama. I think the entitlement came from his mama. Of course, people are gonna, because 50 made this big move. He made a power move. He's viral everywhere. This is how you blow up the internet. Bringing awareness to situations. And I think Ninjas is mad because 50 did it first. I think Ninjas is mad because 50 had enough kahunas to be speaking on this man from back in the day, from when Diddy sent the Cassie freak off tape to 50. 50 has been loud and proud about the ish. Okay? 50 on Drink Champs talk about the suspicious nature his manager was deleted, Kevin Lighty, who was a major player in the music game. He developed a lot of careers. He was responsible for the vitamin water deal for 50, which made him a millionaire. Who's his direct competition? Diddy. Diddy always has to make everything about himself. Even like Nipsey Hussle reached out to him like, hey, I want to see if you could put some finishing touches on my album that is already made. All of a sudden, Nipsey is deleted and Diddy becomes executive producer. It's crazy. Yeah, Ramirez was silenced, if you ask me. But I just think Ramirez should have really followed the lead of Jay-Z's first daughter. That's what she goes by on Instagram. And once she dropped that ancestry test and Jay-Z's family came up in the family tree, he couldn't do nothing. He couldn't dispute it anymore. And I just really felt like Ramir would have been better off going that way and doing maybe like a sibling test, but he wanted to keep going on platforms and stuff, and none of that is going to matter in the court of law. You going on podcasts is not solving the problem. I think if he would have did an ancestry test, at least he would have found out what it was. But Jay-Z like, nah, Ninja, you ain't getting none of my money. You ain't my son. You know who else I would like to hear from? Diddy's sister. Where is she at? Where is she at? Why has she been silenced all these years? What does she know? What does she know? Look, is this Diddy taking credit for Victory Lap, Nipsey Hussle's album, and in my opinion, his last victim. Child, you just notice patterns of behavior over the course of say 25, 30 years. He never changed. He never changed his playbook. And he got so big, he felt he was invincible. Right. This that video alone on the way he knocked Cassie between the washer and dryer. Like it just reassured me of what I felt all these years about that knockoff of a rapper. Please thumbs up the video if you're enjoying the commentary. Please donate to the channel. Hold on. And you know what else I find odd, Naughty Crew? The different perspectives on from West Coast versus East Coast when they speak about Tupac's deletion. You got Crack 100 out here saying, "Oh, that was a blood crip thing." But then when you hear it from the East Coast perspective, they talk from the Quad Studios, which I think the Diddler had his hands in. Where is that? Yeah, he's always like biting off people. They saying Young Miami was like a replica of Lauren London. Lauren London and Cassie were best friends. I would love to hear her perspective on things. What's this? She's been very quiet. I think so too. I agree with you, Be More Shorty. Here's Diddy taking credit for Nipsey's project. Hold on. 50 Cent said that boy come out and play. Crazy on this Netflix doc. I feel like I was watching a toxic media breakdown with the $1 million budget. They broke down the biggest rumors and conspiracies that everybody wanted to know. And I'm not gonna lie, by the end of it, 50 said, forget the trial. You had my baby mama in a 360 freak off deal. Ain't it crazy that 50 got footage of Diddy talking to Daphne Joy, talking about he about to deposit $200 million. 50 don't give a fuck about that slut. You hear me? That you're guilty of all of it, from setting up Pac to get shot to starting the East Coast West Coast war. Later, Diddy went on the radio and said he's an executive producer on the album. Yo, Diddy, let's talk about your work the late great Nip, long live Nip. Yo, man, I want you mention. You know what I'm saying? Like Nip had no ego, so you know what I'm saying. You did though. I want you to mention. I want to get into real estate. I want to get. Man, come on, bruh, there's no doubt that Nip probably would have been ecstatic that he met you and all that shit, but that Nip was his own man. He was his own leader. He didn't care who you was. Nigga, his thoughts, his mind, his vision was his. Now, yeah, this falls under fair use. Shout out to Nina Boy. He covers a lot of this East Coast, West Coast stuff. Be more sure that you have a great day. Thank you for joining. Now we a tycoon, all right, for sure. But if y'all go back and watch everything Nipsey was saying, he was saying about real estate and all diversifying equity and all this way before he even sat down. Yes, goddess, that was Daphne Joy, and that's the people trying to make it about 50 and her. He don't give a f. Man, so I don't know how I'm gonna take that one right there, but yeah, man, don't act like he was just beat riding you, gang. Let's go. And I'm gonna be teaching you all your, you know what I mean, like your business secrets. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whenever you got questions, pull up. And then on his last album, people do not know this. Somebody tried to jerk me, but I fixed it. I actually am one of the executive. What, you want us to believe that somebody tried to jerk you out? Out of all these years, how many people have you jerked, Diddy? Of Oh, hey, Phoebe. That's a lie. He didn't say you was executive producer. He said you was executive Sonic the Hedgehog because you don't got a musical bone in your body. So he made up a fake title to make you happy. We were talking about it the other day. What's Puff's title on the album? Sonic. I made some titles up for my Puff's title. I made him executive composer. Yeah. And then head of Sonic composition. I think Sonic. Something like that. Can you explain that to me? Yeah. So basically, it's kind of hard to say. I'm actually one of the executive producers of Nipsey Hussle's last album. Victory Lap. Yeah, Victory Lap. No, nigga, no. No, absolutely not. He gave you executive composer, sir. You see, that nigga was still from the dead. That ninja was still from the dead. He did it with Biggie. He stole the Rolling Stone cover. Let's not forget his life. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But I'm interested to see. Number one, is 50 going to put out more documentaries? I mean, this story goes wide, okay? Will more victims come forward? Will the baby mothers finally have the guts to speak up? Like Misa, I'm so tired of your ass windmilling for this man that did you so wrong through the years. I mean, he cheated on you with Kim Porter. When you gonna find your voice? I would love to hear from Mary. When you gonna find your voice? Do y'all feel like a lot of people are still scared because they feel like Diddy is gonna come out one day and be on a warpath of revenge? It's possible, but a lot of eyes are gonna be on him now. So if anybody is violated or comes up missing, there is a court record now documenting how violent he is. But it's so many more people I want to hear from. I want to hear from Lil Kim. I want to hear from C's. Sorry, it keep freezing. I want to hear from Chance Mama. Um, I want to hear from some more personal assistants that don't lie. I want to hear from Lauren London. I really want to know what her thoughts are and how she feels that her husband Nipsey was taken away and Diddy was supposed to be her people's. I wish Mary would speak up. Like she could put a profound spin on these things. Look, Lil Kim been speaking from back in the day when she got released from prison. And she said that ninja ain't even write her a letter, child. Let alone put money on her commissary. Ooh, Misa is a troll because Justin is not Diddy's son. I hear that. Oh, MJB under a gag order. I mean, she might be afraid to speak because of the backlash, but what's that young man name? He already been out here talking about Mary was sleeping with him underage. So I just think the information is out there. And I just really wish the women of hip hop will take control of the narrative because the men are exposing their asses all over the place like collateral damage. And if they would just tell their own stories, like Mary, you wasn't scared to speak up when Aaliyah passed, talking about she was a spiritual sacrifice. What makes you scared now? Danny boy, yes. But they may be afraid of the backlash because now you see tables are turning. These ex workers are now suing Cassie for transmitting STDs and everything. So the tables can very much turn. But I just don't like. I think the silence is complicity. If you ask me, the silence makes you complicit. It makes me feel like you agree with this egregious behavior. It's sad. I mean, they trying to say that Mary was upset at 50. I do not believe that because 50 employed Mary, gave her a job on Power. Just like I don't believe it's over a girl. I believe 50 wanted to expose the type of monster Diddy was, and he wasn't afraid to do it. Like the rest of these punk ass niggas trying to protect this bro code and shit while people are being violated all over the place. This could have been stopped a long time ago. Mary got the bones. Maybe we'll hear about it in her documentary one day. Cause Mary gives me passive aggressive. Like even when her and Diddy fell out, do y'all notice how she blames herself? Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. This is all I have for my commentary today. Y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about all that's being exposed by Diddy himself. He did this to himself. That's just goes to show like when a person's ego gets way too big for their britches, there's no bringing them down. And I don't even think him being in prison right now, I don't even think he's humbled. I think he is sitting in prison right now trying to figure out how he going to come out and reinvent himself. And the sad part is it's some weak sauce ass ninjas out here that's going to co-sign the bull. And this is the problem. But I appreciate every last one of y'all joining me. Drop down into the comments. I love you all, and I definitely will be back tomorrow. I'm trying to get more consistent, you guys, after my hiatus. We gonna get back in the algorithm one way or another. I can't be stopped. I can't be stopped. I can't be stopped. Love you all. Like, comment, and share. Until next time, Naughty Crew, I'm out. One.